Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Renee Jordan, and I just wanted to take a moment to share with you why I decided to get a PhD while I take my hair out. This is a trick that I got from That Chick Angel. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. All right. So I knew at the age of 17 that I wanted to become a doctor. At first, I thought I wanted to become a medical doctor. Um, I did not know or did not think that I would earn a PhD. It didn't cross my mind at the time. However, I did have a chance to work at Georgetown University Lombardi Cancer Research Center. And on the way checking the mail, on my way to check the mail, I walked past one of the medical school rooms, and there was a cadaver covered in a sheet. Let's just say I decided then it was not for me to go to medical school. I ran. I did not want to think about what it would take for me to get used to people not being alive and working with people who were ill all the time. I wanted to work with children, but the thought of having to work with children who would be sick and potentially pass away at a higher rate than I would normally be exposed to if I wasn't a doctor, I couldn't fathom it. And so I ended up becoming a school teacher, and I took an alternative route to my certification. So I did the Prince George's County um, resident teacher program and earned my teaching certificate and taught in the very county from which I graduated, Prince George's County. And I wanted to make sure I was doing things right. So I went back to school and got a master's in education, secondary education, curriculum specialist. And my advisor, Dr. Bruce Krim, he reviewed my thesis paper and essentially told me, well, he did tell me that I wrote well and there was no reason that I shouldn't go on to pursue a PhD. And so I did. Now, um, at first, I wanted to get a PhD in public policy because I was curious about who was determining what should be taught in my classroom in terms of the curriculum. And I ran into a friend at a mall in Maryland, Annapolis Mall to be exact. And she said, based on the questions I was asking, she was also someone who was in the resident teacher program. So I was glad to see her. She said, based on the questions I was asking, she said that I would be good at public policy. And so I looked into programs that offer public policy. George Washington University was one of them, but also I saw that Georgia State University was ranked at the time 23 in the country, and they cost far less than George Washington University. And so I took the GRE, and based on my score, I decided to test things out in the master's program for public policy as opposed to going straight into a PhD in public policy. And I'm glad that I did. In order to get right into the PhD program, I would have needed a higher math score, but it was good enough for the master's program. So I said, well, let me see if I like it and try it out. And so in public policy, I got practical application and I was exposed to a lot of things that I did not learn about during my programming for the Master's of Education, Secondary Education, and essentially learned that those with the degree that I would earn would make recommendations, policy recommendations to those who were appointed officials or those who had masters in public administration. And so I said to myself, well, I want a tool. I don't want to just make recommendations, although these people are needed, I felt like I needed to do something that was more hands-on. And even when I spoke to the person who covered education policy specifically at Georgia State University, she said that I sounded like a research practitioner and they would teach me how to be a faculty member. And she wasn't sure that I would be satisfied with writing and researching from a distance, if you will, about what's happening in education as it relates to policy. But I sounded like I wanted to be on the ground, essentially. And that was true. So I decided that I needed a tool. And I heard before, that you should get a PhD in something that you love, because that's going to help you make it through the long time that it takes to actually earn a PhD. And I knew it was going to take me some time because I worked full time. I was not a full-time student in the sense that I did not have full-time employment, but I went to school and I went to work. And so I knew it was going to take me some time, and I needed to get a PhD, or wanted to get a PhD in something that I really loved and enjoyed. And throughout my career, technology was something that has always followed me. I've always been on the side of helping others with technology, and that allowed me to not only integrate it into my teaching practices. I taught high school biology for 7 years, but I also was able to work with my coworkers and train them, and work with different teachers so that we could get updated and know all the latest and greatest as it related to our learning management systems. They changed our grading platform every year and gave us one lesson in it and expected us to be able to do what we needed to do for the rest of the year. So I would help out my fellow teachers with technology, and it was something that just always stuck with me. I shadowed a I shadowed someone who worked in the IT department at the U.S. Department of Energy as a result of a summer program that I participated in the summer between my junior and senior year of high school. And as a result of that, when I got to college, I worked in the IT department for 2 years as my federal work study appointment. And like I said, helping people with technology on the user side was something that I always did. And I looked at, and as a result of all of this, I looked at the instructional technology program at Georgia State University, their PhD program. And I did take the GRE again. And as a result of getting a master's in public policy first, I actually completed the statistics courses that I would have need to complete in the PhD program. And so I made note about that on my application and said, hey, I've taken stats 1, 2, and 3. These are the equivalent of quantitative research 1, 2, and 3. Please could take my grades into consideration while reviewing my application. And I got in. So I got a PhD in instructional technology because I could. A little more of a backstory is that when I would introduce myself to my classmates, like during the first day of class, I would share that my grandmother was born in 1909. And so she is a grandchild of people who were enslaved. And during her life, she actually taught school. However, as a result of updates to policy, changes that were made, she was no longer able to teach in the same fashion that she was teaching. She needed to go to college in order to get a diploma in order to teach. And she didn't get that diploma. And as a result, she did the work that she could do, which was to serve or work as a cook in the kitchens of others. And that is a part of why I went to get a PhD, because I can. I had the opportunity. I was blessed to have the opportunities that I had that led me to this journey and allowed me to successfully complete it. And I used to want to try to save the whole world. Then I shrunk it down to the US. I wanted to become the next US Department of Education secretary, so the secretary of the US Department of Education. And then I shrunk it down a little smaller. I was like, you know what? I just want to do something great in my community. And wherever that is, that's where I wanted to do my work. And so I want to thank you for listening, because you are a part of my community. And I hope that I can help and encourage someone else along the way, because I found out that by working out my own social justice in becoming a Black woman in instructional technology with a PhD, I'm able to help others who are behind me, as well as those who are beside me. So hence my work in academic coaching, as well as career coaching. So feel free to leave me questions and comments, like, subscribe, and share, and be sure to rate and review to make my podcast and what I share with you more discoverable. Thank you and have a great day.